Let's talk about the third piece of this, which is the media, or how are we going to do this? We know who we're going to talk to. We know what we're going to say. Now, how do we get in front of those people? Let's jump into the media, or the how. How are we going to do this? The biggest piece here is your website. So your website is the hub of everything that you do. At the end of the day, you're driving people to your site. You're driving people to a landing page. You're driving them to a product page, something like that. Your website is the hub. Also, your website is what Google looks at when it comes to search engine optimization. If your website is junk and it's not optimized well, you're not going to rank high and you're not going to get a lot of leads at the end of the day. So definitely have a website that obviously converts well. This is probably one of the biggest things that I see wrong with websites when I review them, and that is conversion factors. So do you have the right things in place that calls the visitor to action, tells them what to do next? So here's an example of a company called the Stitch Room. And you can see up on the top right here, we've got a request for consultation. Some of our clients put like a set your appointment button, something like that there. But it's an easy way for them to know what is the obvious next step. Get that consultation so that we can help you out. There's a couple other calls to action here. Obviously, the promotions, which is in a different color, which is a contributing factor to you should definitely do business with us. And there's a chat widget, which is nice. So if you have questions right away, you can ask those questions. But some really good calls to action on this kind of page. So does your site do a good job of this? Does it convert people to the obvious next step? I think that's the big piece here, that it really needs to explain what they should do next. And typically that's some sort of a set an appointment button on your site. Another thing you can do is a lead magnet. So put some sort of a lead magnet on your site. A lead magnet is basically something that attracts people to take action. And usually there's some sort of a transaction in place. So give us your email and we'll send you a coupon, right? You get that a lot on pop-ups on websites now. 10% off if you give us your email address. That's a lead magnet, and that's a transaction. I'm trading something of value to me, which is my email address, in exchange for something of value from the company, which is X% off, or some sort of other offer that they have. Lead magnets are a great way to do this. Another great lead magnet could be some sort of a PDF download, such as a product catalog, or top 7 ways to enhance your home with window treatments, and maybe that is a guide of the different things that you offer. A lot of different ways that you could do the lead magnets. But at the end of the day, they need to be behind some sort of a transaction, a form that they fill out in order to get item delivered to them. Next up is tracking. So definitely have to have tracking in place. All of this work that you're going to be doing for marketing, you need to know if it's working or not, right? You need to have the mechanisms in place so that you know which marketing channels are working, which ones are a waste of your time. That all starts really with Google Analytics. So having analytics in place is really going to help you out getting that set up, and it's really easy. Analytics.google.com is where you would go, and then just get that set up on your site so that it starts tracking visitors, what they're doing, what pages they're looking at, how long are they spending on your site. Those types of things are very important. And then, of course, lead tracking. So having some sort of lead source tracking in place. This is a screenshot of Lead Boomerang, which is the CRM for window treatment and awning companies. We built this lead tracking system out specifically for this industry. And you can see really good idea of what opportunities or open jobs do you have? If you close those, what are they worth? And then conversion rate. What is your conversion rate of all the leads that are coming in? How many of those are you converting into sales or appointments? But having something like this in place is huge. And again, this is called Lead Boomerang. myleadboomerang.com is where you could learn a little bit more about that if you're interested. But having something in place where you can track all of these hugely important. Now, one really cool thing you can do with Google Analytics is you can set up what they call goals in here. So anybody that visits a certain page could be a goal achieved, right? And a great example of this is a thank you page. So if you have a set appointment page on your site, after they set the appointment, fill out the form, it sends them to a thank you page. The only way anybody's going to get to that thank you page is by setting an appointment. It's the only way they can get there. So you could set up a goal in analytics that say, I want to hit X number of people on my thank you page, which obviously is leads, right? I want to hit an X number of leads. So you can see here we had 1,098 goal completions in this example. And then on the top right of all the numbers there, 156 people set an appointment, 800 people picked up the phone and called. So you can track phone calls, all that kind of stuff in here too. Now down below, the other two numbers, 67 and 12, these are lead magnets. So downloaded our design guide or requested the Hunter Douglas catalog. So you can set multiple goals and then track those month over month and really see how are people engaging with our site. Are they downloading our lead magnet? Are they taking advantage of the coupon, whatever it happens to be? And then you can track that month over month to see if it's effective. I mentioned call tracking. This is built into the Lead Boomerang tool as well, but having some sort of way to track all the calls that come in to your business and then their source. Did they call from the website? Did they call from the Google profile? Did they call from Yelp? Did they call from some other source, right? A billboard or a flyer or something else that you're doing? Having a way to track your calls is hugely beneficial, especially if you're doing different campaigns with marketing. There's a great way to tell if they worked or not, right? So having call tracking, definitely a huge piece of the tracking and the media side of this. So obviously benefits of using the right media means you're fishing in the right place, right? And you're saying things to people that make sense. Your audience is the audience that we built back in the who section. So there's a lot of opportunity when marketing online to expand your business. Obviously, there's a huge audience. There's a huge pond to go fishing in. And you're being very targeted on what you're saying to those people and who they are. It gives you an opportunity to maybe look a little bit bigger than what you really are. And it gives you an opportunity to look a little more cutting edge as well. I think that's a big one. So we've got a quick project for you to do, I guess. Pull up your website. So you can do this now. You can do this after the call, but pull up your website. And what I'd like you to do is click on some link in your top navigation, whatever page you want to do, and then scroll halfway down that page. Stop at some random point on that page and then look around. Is your website built to convert people to appointment, right? Is there an obvious next step? Now, one thing I'll say about obvious next step here is it obvious? Is it a different color? Is there an orange button or a green button or something that draws your eye to that? Definitely need to have these throughout your entire website so that any point when you have a visitor cruising through your site and they're like, okay, I want to talk to these guys, there's an obvious next step right at that decision point. They don't have to scroll back up. They don't have to go to contact us. They don't have to do that kind of stuff. So less friction is better. So look at obviously what things you need to tweak, and then make sure that phone numbers are click to call, especially on mobile devices. So you could actually do this same little exercise on your phone. Go to your website, click around 2 or 3 times, scroll halfway down, look at it at that point. Does your mobile version have an obvious click to call, or an obvious next step in it? And if it has a phone number, can I just click on the number and it dials? Or do I need to copy that number and then go to my phone app and then paste that in there and then hit the button to call you guys? Make it as easy as possible for sure. For the most part, 50 to 60% of your leads that come in don't convert. Maybe that number is even higher. 90% of the people filling out your forms are not converting. The big issue here really is time to reply. Leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes tend to go cold. And that's because people are looking at you, then they're going to the next person, the next company in line and contacting them. And then they're going the next one in line and contacting them. We need a way to make sure that we are following up and that we are answering the phone and that we are doing so on a very consistent basis. So a lot of clients nowadays, our customers, prefer texting. So you need to have something in place like the lead boomerang system does that has that text messaging capability to start that conversation and also stop them from continuing that search to some of your competitors. This is a pretty interesting couple charts here. As time goes on, and you can see at the bottom of the first chart here, as time goes on, the opportunity of you converting that person into a lead or an appointment dramatically declines as time continues. So you have less of a chance of doing so after somebody calls if you, let's say you don't answer the phone and you need to call them back, right? And then the second chart here is times that you need to follow up. So just because you couldn't answer the phone then when you called back, maybe they were busy, maybe they're picking the kids up from school or whatever, the amount of times that you need to follow up, it dramatically increases the potential of you closing that business or getting that appointment. So you can't just give up after they don't answer the first or second time. In this case, what's it say? Somewhere between 6 and 7 times you really need to follow up with them. And you should follow up with them on different channels. So call them on the phone, send a text message, send some sort of a postcard is a great idea. So come at them from different angles is really going to help you convert more of those leads that you spent ad money to get. So make sure that you're able to convert as many of those as possible. So the way to fix this really is to leverage some sort of marketing automation that follows up within a minute or two of them filling out a form or you miss the phone call. Something like that is really going to help you, like I said, help get them started with a conversation, but also stop them from looking at your competitors. And these automations can have a dramatic effect on your business. If we look at 100 leads with no follow-up, you might be converting 3 out of 10. Average ticket of $4,500 means 135 in revenue. But if you have some automated follow-ups in place, your conversion rate is going to skyrocket for sure. Just because you're starting those conversations that obviously you can continue, that same 100 leads can turn into almost 3 times the revenue. The number of leads isn't changing. It's just how you're reacting to those leads that is the big piece here. And that means every lead that you get a lot more valuable. So definitely have some of these automations in place and things to reach out to these people that are raising their hand to do business with you. Make it as easy as possible, and then make sure you're following up through multiple channels in order to get their business. So as you go through and look at your website, what are 3 different conversion elements that you can implement? We talked about quite a few of them today. The easiest one is probably the call to click to call. Make sure that's working on your mobile devices. That's huge because people are not going to copy and paste and get your phone number and go through all that trouble. So make that really easy.